Hey guys, Grim Webster here. If you've been paying attention to the blog page or the Facebook page, you know that I've been out of town for a while. If you haven't been paying attention to the blog page or the Facebook page, I encourage you to do so. Just go ahead, go over to the blog page and bookmark that, or like the Facebook page. Those are the two best ways to figure out what's going on with the show and what'll be coming up. Now, in case you were curious, yes, this is my giant head on the screen, and yes, you are welcome to have as many nightmares as you want. Now, what I did was I took the family on vacation down to Bardstown, Kentucky. And the whole plan was we were just going to do some trains. There's a dinner train that we did, which was great, and then there was a train robbery, which was pretty cool. And we just did a passenger train on the last day. Before we did the trains, we decided we were going to do some historical stuff, because when we go on vacation, we like to do something educational for the kids while we're there. And as you know, or well, you may not know, but Kentucky was a pretty big deal during the Civil War, and the reason for that being that Kentucky was right on the Mason-Dixon line. And during the Civil War, half of Kentucky was for slavery, and the other half was against slavery. And what that did was actually put brother against brother, like literally brother fighting brother. And also, I think Keanu Reeves was there too. I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, that's what we did. We went down to Bardstown, and we did some Civil War museums, because the Civil War is such a big deal. And you know, Kentucky has a lot of battlegrounds, and you know, a lot of stuff happened in Kentucky. And so there's, you know, especially if you go a little farther south into Kentucky, you'll find a lot of stuff that deals with the Civil War. So we did a bunch of museums. And now, this first picture here, yes, those are my kids. And I did blank out their faces because they're too young to be on the internet like that. And that was my decision, to blank out their faces. And one day, if they get older and they decide they want to plaster their faces all over the internet just like their dad, well, that's their decision. But until then, it's my decision. So basically what this is here is, it was a display at the Civil War one of the Civil War museums. Obviously they weren't supposed to be in there. Yeah, the place was deserted. So what we did was we basically chucked them over the gate there and had them pose for a picture. And I've actually got more pictures of this little area here, but without the kids in it. And this is like the only place where we actually broke the rules, I guess. And this is the only picture that has one of these in it right there. And now, I'm not saying that that's something, but I did capture quite a few of them on vacation. And I'm not going to say that they're ghosts or whatever, but they are definitely there. I mean, it could be water vapor, it could be dust, it could be light reflecting off of anything. I'm not here to say anything is or isn't. You know, just like anything else I do, I'm here to show you what there is and let you make up your own mind. So in the next picture, this was at the Pioneer Museum, or Pioneer Village is what it is. But it's basically, it's a small little village, and there's cabins and stuff that are left over from I guess like the 1800s and such, which was when the Civil War was. And this was a tavern, and I guess it's mostly kept original. I mean, obviously they didn't have these tables and chairs back then. And I'm pretty sure this wood paneling here is not original, but the rest of this seems to be. And we ended up with one of these right here that just kind of popped into the picture, and we didn't really get any more of those inside the tavern. And then this, I believe, was called the Bean House, which, you know, the Bean family lived here. And what we got here was this little guy. And now, he wasn't there before. And in the next picture, it's actually moved to right here. And let me see if I can zoom in on that for you. There we go. Right there. It was here, and now it's there. And the next one, this was at the church. And actually, let me see. You've got this guy right here. And actually, my wife was just outside the frame of this picture. She was actually in the picture, but she requested that I not put her on the internet. And if you know anything about wives or marriage, you know it's a good idea to listen. And here we've got one back here. This was not there before. I've got a couple pictures that show this back wall, and this spot is not there, although these little ones are. These are actually part of the wood. Here, I'm not sure if this is anything or not. It could be water vapor. It was, I believe it was starting to rain at that point in time, but there does seem to be a few more here than anywhere else. You've got one here, and here, 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 I think one right there. And this one, this was another cabin that people actually lived in. And as you can see, we've got one here. This is another one of those situations where we actually broke the rules when we shouldn't have, probably. This was a little ladder that was leading up to a second story. There's actually a second story up here. And I couldn't raise up my arms high enough to get a good shot of the second story. And so the oldest, he hopped over the gate for me, climbed up that ladder, and took a picture of the second story. But there really wasn't anything worth seeing up there. It's just some garbage. But we ended up getting one there. And then the next picture, it's moved to right here. This is pretty much the same picture, just a little more to the left. Now this is the Talbot Tavern. And what happened was, after we did the Pioneer Village, my camera had actually pretty much died. And that was really weird, because my camera can take thousands of pictures and, you know, not die. The battery just, I don't know why, I got maybe a couple hundred pictures and the battery just died out on me. And that was pretty weird, because normally it doesn't do that. So when we were done with the village, we stopped off, and since we were in Kentucky, this is the place to go for burgoo. If you don't know what burgoo is, it's kind of a beef stew type of thing. It's kind of like Kentucky's dish, I guess. So I had never had it, so we stopped here and we got some. And now this is the Talbot Tavern, and it's pretty historical. It's been around since, well, forever, and it's all mostly original still. I mean, obviously the track lighting here and the ceiling fan are not original, but the rest of it's pretty close. Now the interesting thing that happened here is this table right here, right above my son's head, a man and a woman sat down, and the waitress came and got them drinks, and she set the lady's drink down, and then she set the guy's drink down. When she set the guy's drink down, it slid across the table back at her. So what she did, she just grabbed it and pushed it back towards him, and he didn't notice, and I didn't actually see it, but the wife did. She said, "Hey, did you see that? The guy's drink just scooted across the table." And of course, at that, you know, I'm like craning my neck real hard to get a look at this table, and you know, I'm probably looking like a creeper of some sort. But I'm eyeballing this table, and sure enough, you know, it's just sitting there, and out of nowhere, without anybody touching it, it scoots across the table again. And the waitress just grabs it, scoots it back towards him. Now, this time he actually saw it though, and he goes, "Did you see that? My drink just moved." She goes, "Oh yeah, that happens all the time. Sometimes it just fall right off the table. You know, like it's no big deal, and it happens all the time." But yeah, I was I was borderline freaking out there, and she's just like, "Oh, no big deal." And you know, I was really bummed that I wasn't able to get a picture of that. I mean, this is probably the last picture I got with my actual camera that day. I was just able to turn it on and get one last picture of the table. And I wasn't even going for this table here. I was actually going for this picture back here, because obviously they hadn't sat down here yet. This was a cell phone picture, and obviously it's pretty crappy. But here's the burgoo, which was pretty decent, and some cornbread, which was good. But look back here, what they did was, under the guy's drink, she sat down a napkin so it couldn't scoot across the table anymore. But yeah, I was hoping something would show up here, but pretty much everything we did with our cell phones didn't really turn up anything. Now the last day we did a passenger train, and I didn't notice anything about the train pictures until about a few minutes ago when I was putting together this video. I noticed that we've got one here, and we've got a few lighter ones up here, and I don't know if that's anything or not, because the passenger car was pretty old, at least from the 40s, and it was pretty dusty and not exactly the cleanest and kind of smelled funky. And in the next one, you can see still up here we have some, and they kind of tend to stay near the luggage rack, so I don't know if that's something or not. And then one more just barely up here. And that's the extent of what I was able to capture on film. And we also went to the Old Jailers Inn, which is right next to the Talbot Tavern. But since my battery had died that day, we didn't actually do the tour because I wanted to get my battery charged and come back and take pictures, because the Talbot Tavern's supposed to be pretty haunted as well. I was hoping to catch something there. But we actually, everything I did that was paranormal related was actually, in the off time when we weren't doing other things. I do everything on the cheap, so I try to mix what I do and get as much as I possibly can. And so I didn't really get anything from the Old Jailers Inn. And there's also a cemetery right behind the Old Jailers Inn as well. And we walked through that. We took some cell phone pictures, about the best we could do that day. And we didn't really get anything there, but it is pretty cool. They've got these above-ground crypts, just like single coffins above ground encased in concrete. But the concrete started breaking away and crumbling, and obviously there's no bodies in there. They've got cinder blocks inside holding it up, but it's still pretty cool, kind of creepy. A lot of the tombstones have fallen down, and just the whole place, it's kind of creepy. It's really old. Definitely worth a visit if you're ever there. Another thing I wanted to do while I was there but I didn't get to is drive over to Waverly Hills, which is a sanitarium. And I think it was about 45 minutes away from Bardstown. And but the wife wants to go to that too, but I don't think that's something we're going to end up doing with the kids. It's something I wanted to squeeze in, but we never got around to it just because we had so much stuff we were already doing. So hopefully next time I'm in the area, I'll be at Waverly Hills and I'll be able to post something from there. That's pretty much it from what I was doing out of town. And the next episode, the real episode, should be uploaded sometime next week. I want to get back on track with regular recording and things. So this is just going to be, I guess we'll call it a YouTube exclusive. I'll obviously post it to the blog site, but it's going exclusively up on YouTube. So anybody who likes to listen through iTunes, I apologize. This isn't going to show up on the iTunes list at all. It's just going to be a video straight for YouTube. If anybody's interested and you want to know more about what I'm doing or what's coming up, or have any interest in the paranormal at all, go ahead and go over to the blog page. That's wotb.blogspot.com. Over there you'll also find a link for a Facebook page. Go ahead and like the Facebook page. There's a Twitter page, a YouTube page, but I imagine if you found this, you've already found the YouTube page. There's also email links. You can email me. You can submit any paranormal experience that you have, anything at all. I'm always interested in hearing real-life experiences from real people. There's also a phone number there. You can call me and leave a voicemail, or you can text me. I do accept texts. You can also Skype me, leave a voicemail there, or Google Voice as well. So that's it for now. I guess I will see you on the next episode, and until then, keep your eyes and your mind open, or you just might miss what's out there.